Good to see all of your smiling faces on this Thursday afternoon. Hope you all had a nice restful day yesterday for Veterans Day and enjoyed your day off from working. I had a relaxing time. If you are from the Bronx, you know about this magical place called Orchard Beach. That's where I went with my family yesterday and then went to City Island afterwards for a lobster roll. It was just what I needed. Very beautiful day until the rain came. So it was very good to have some time to just relax. Yeah, take it easy. Thanks, Chelsea P. It's a nice day off, but I'm glad to be
Wait,
back.
which restaurant did you go to at City Island? I usually go to the one all the way in the right-hand side, all the way in the back, like to
I
the water.
is that Sammy's you go to?
Oh, what? I didn't get that.
Is it called Sammy's?
I don't remember the name because I think it burned down and they
Sammy's is
rebuilt
on the
it.
left. The Sammy's
Yeah,
on the
I
left.
don't
You
remember.
went to the
I
right side.
I went. Yeah, I went to Sammy's, but there's two Sammy's. There's fish box and there's shrimp box. One's on the right, one's on the left.
Oh, Johnny's Reef. That's the other one. I'm sorry.
No,
Johnny's
I think
Reef.
I,
Yeah.
I go to the
Johnny's
one
Reef
on
is
the
on the
right.
left.
I go to the one on the right.
Isn't it so funny that everyone goes to City Island? They're like, I go to this place next to this place, and no one ever knows what it's called where they go. Just know where it is. Anyways, yeah, I only go to City Island like during the week, during the day. I won't go there in the evenings or weekends. That's just not my scene. But anyways, we're not going to talk about City Island on during class today. We're talking about project management. All right, today's assistant instructor is Preciosa here? Oh yeah, here she is. Hey Preciosa, how are you?
I'm doing good. I just came down with a cold.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, I won't ask much of you today. Just want to learn a little bit more about who you are. So where are you from, Preciosa?
I'm from Harlem.
Very cool. From Harlem. Awesome. And why'd you join Year Up?
Well, one because I took a break from college,
Mm-hmm.
and two is because I want to better my knowledge on investments.
Awesome. Sounds great. And what is a fun fact about you?
I have a very loud laugh.
A very loud laugh. Okay. That's
Yeah.
cool. So should I tell you a joke so we can all hear your laugh?
No.
Okay. Too bad. All right. What is a question that you want to pose to our group?
A question is, I guess it's like, what's your favorite game, like video game, and why?
Okay. Your favorite video game and why? And what about you, Preciosa? What's your favorite video game and why?
Currently, it is Call of Duty Mobile. Even though
Mm-hmm.
I play on the PS4, but I like the mobile because I feel like it's better to play with. I don't know.
Okay. Cool. So Call of Duty on mobile is your favorite game. Looks like some people are putting in the comments already. Alexander says FIFA, GTA 5. Check to Brian. Gosh, my favorite video game. I haven't really my last time I played video games, just to show you guys how old I am. I had a PS2. That was the last console I ever owned. I don't know how many of you remember those, but my Dondre is like, he's like so so shocked, like, whoa, what is that? I heard about those. I saw that in a museum one time as an artifact. So my favorite game on PS2 was Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I loved Tony Hawk. I would play that all the time. I love the soundtrack too. One of the happiest days of my life was when I found the soundtrack on Spotify. Brought me back to my youth. So I got Left 4 Dead 2, Jack 2, Super Mario Brothers. There you go, Sophia. Dragon Ball Fighters, PS2. Yes, what I played. That was my last console I ever owned. Oh yeah, actually no, that's not true. They didn't have GTA on PS2, did they? Did they have it on that? They did.
They did.
I played Grand Theft Auto, but I can remember what. Yeah, I'm pretty
It
sure.
was San Andreas. San Andreas.
Yeah, that's when I played. That was like supposed to be like LA, right? Kind of vaguely remember this. I'm going way back to my youthfulness. We were up to PS5. Yeah. How much does a PS5 cost, Andre?
So you can't buy it right now. It's $500, but the resale is like $1,000 plus.
Wow.
Wait, you can't get it right now?
Isn't it at the end of this month that's coming up?
Like
it's today.
Pre-order, but they're like all sold out. Brian can tell you more about it.
All right. Well, we can talk. All I remember was that the PS2 came out and it was $199. My parents were like, "What? That's ridiculous! You're gonna spend that much money on a video game?" And now it's $1,000. You're saying this? It's wild. But then again,
my PS3 was $400. For
They
the
really
Wii.
shot up. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
They're just getting greedy over there at PlayStation. All right, cool. Well, great
Yeah,
question.
thanks, man.
Preciosa, thank you so much. Thank you all for being here today. So today we're going to talk about time management, time management in the success of a project. So let's start off with a question in the chat box. Raise your hand if you think you have a good answer. Why is time management so important in the success of a project? Raise your digital hand if you think you have a idea why that's such an important part of project management. Let's go Dondre, then Chelsea.
Time management is important because it keeps you on track. It keeps you on like the timeline that you're on. Because if you don't have a timeline for yourself, you can quickly take more than enough time, more time than you need, and then that also will bleed into your budget, which will take up more money, and it's just a big catastrophe.
All right, Dondre, thank you so much. I'm going to put you on the spot, Dondre, but I know you're going to get the right answer. What's more important in project management, time management or money management?
Time management. For
Why?
Sure.
Why is that?
Because time is money, and I have it's in my head, but I just can't put it into words.
Well, let me help you out, and you can nod your head if we're thinking the same thing. The longer a project takes, the more money it's going to cost, right? That's exactly right. The longer a project takes, the more money it's going to cost. So if you say it's going to be done in 6 months and it takes 18 months, guess what? You're paying all those contractors, all those employees, all of them through that. So, yeah, if you don't manage your time well, you're gonna make your project sponsor very, very upset. Chelsea, anything you want to add?
So I'm sorry, time management is important to the success of a project because you have to meet expectations. If they're trying to promote something and it has to be done by this day and it's not done, then what? You have nothing to promote or no product to put out. Miss certain opportunities. I think that's what like I briefly wrote something.
Yeah.
Miss certain opportunities. Yeah, I think that goes back to the first thing I just said.
Yep, absolutely, Chelsea. You're 100% right. Imagine if me, Alex, and Ranish are a team, and Chelsea, Dondre, and Randy are a team, and you guys can't do your part of the project till we finish ours. And Chelsea asks us on Monday, "Hey, when are you guys going to be done?" And we say, "Oh, we'll be done Friday at 5 p.m." And you say to Dondre and Randy, "All right, great. Monday morning, we're going to get started on our section." Monday morning comes along, and we're not done yet. What does that do to you? Frustration, annoyance, anger, all of the above, right? So if you don't manage your time well and you're relying on your colleagues to get their portion done, it's just going to result in, like I said, lost money, lost trust, frustration for your team members, all of the above. So we're going to spend today's lecture about time management in project management. So before we do, I have some solo work for you. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to figure out how you're going to crack this problem. But I want you to imagine you're getting off work. It's 5 p.m. You work at 85 Broad Street, and your mom, dad, grandparent, partner, roommate texts you and says, "I want everything bagel seasoning. It's only at Whole Foods. I want a Wendy's Frosty. I want a single roll of toilet paper. I want cauliflower nachi, which is only sold at Trader Joe's. And I want you to get my repaired iPhone at the Apple Store from Grand Central." Take 5 minutes, come back at 2:14 with a plan on how you would hit all of these in the most efficient way possible. And you can go off camera if you need to. So come back in 5 minutes with a plan on how you would hit all of these and get home as quickly as possible. It is 2:14. Let's go ahead and come back on camera if we are able. Do me a favor. On the right-hand side next to your name, give me a green check if you say, "I got the perfect plan. I know how I'm going to execute this," or red X if you're like, "Yeah, I'm not really sure how I'm going to manage this. This is pretty complicated for my situation." Green check or red X. So Chelsea, you had your hand up first. What's your plan of action?
See, I went to school right down like a few blocks from that was Broad Street, right? So I literally went to 14th Street every single day. So I know that there's a Whole Foods, a Trader Joe's, a Wendy's, and that what else was and there's a CVS right in the middle of Trader Joe's and Whole Foods. So as soon as I get off the train at Union Square, go to Whole Foods. But the thing is, they do have the everything bagel seasoning at Trader Joe's. But for the sake of the example, I'll just say, fine, I'll go to Whole Foods get the toilet paper, and then go to Trader Joe's, and then get on the L train to Grand Central, which will only be a few stops.
Mhm.
And
Okay, so you would do the iPhone last. Gotcha. Okay, thank you so much, Chels. Preciosa, you have your hand up.
Yeah, so I don't know if somebody already said this, but I said that since now everybody is moving remotely, I think you could call the places and do an order pickup. So
Mm,
maybe just call them ahead of time and say that you want to schedule an order pickup for a certain time.
yeah, there you go. Resign says same. You know, I said for my example, if somebody wanted me to pick them up a Wendy's Frosty, I would send them the link to Uber Eats. Like, I'm not getting you a Frosty. Come on. All right, Randy.
Well, thanks for that, Eric.
You're
Stole my
welcome.
answer.
Anytime you want a Frosty, you just let me know.
Yeah, no. So Grand Central, there's a Trader Joe's, there's a Whole Foods 3 minutes away in Cab.
Yep.
But it's a 20-minute ride from 85 Broad Street. So 20-minute ride plus another 3 minutes, 23 minutes. Then like you said, I use DoorDash, they're faster. For the Wendy's Frosty. And there's a deli on the corner of my block, and they sell toilet paper there.
Yeah. Excellent. Very good. Thank you, Randy. How long was the whole entire running errands going to take you? Did you do the math?
Depending on traffic, little over an hour.
Little over an hour. Okay, great. That's pretty good. Tyrell, you said, man, there's no easy way to do this. I struggled. What were some of your hangups with this exercise?
I'm not from the city,
Mhm.
so I don't really know my way around.
So that was
And-
what, yeah, it was hard. Yeah.
Yeah, but if I was driving home, I'd probably just stop at the store
Mhm.
because I'm driving.
Sure. Cool. So what we just did there was an example of managing your time while doing, an activity. And that's going to be what we talk about today for time management and project management. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. That was our project that we did. So are you able to see that okay? Okay, great. Thank you. So anytime you hear me talk about the PMBOK or PMOK, some people say it differently depending on, whoever they are. What that is the process. What that is a book rather, project management book of knowledge, which is, hundreds of pages long, goes into much more detail than we ever will in this class. Probably much more detail than you'll ever actually need to know, unless you want to become like a project management expert. But that book is actually very pricey if you bought it outright, and the PDF is on Schoology. You can go on Schoology and look at everything in the PMBOK. But what they say about schedule management is this: essentially, it's a process of establishing policies, procedures, documents, planning, developing, managing, executing, and controlling the schedule. And obviously, we talked about this already. The key benefit is to provide the guidance and the direction on how the schedule will be managed. Let's just be honest. If you have a project that you're trying to execute, you don't have a schedule to go by, it's gonna be very hard to make that project a success. So that's exactly what the schedule management is, according to the definition, which is found in the book of project management. So chat box question. Let's actually raise our hands because I can't see the chat box. I don't have my my dual monitors today. So raise your hand. How do you determine how long something's going to take? By raising your hand, what do you think? How do you determine how long something's going to take? There's two ways you can do it. Anybody know one?
By just planning it out. Just basically planning it out.
Yeah, Renish says so, planning it out. So but my question is like, we did that activity, picking up all the groceries. Like, how do you determine how long it's going to take in advance? Any way that you would be able to know that other than planning?
Well,
Maybe you could research.
You could research. Yeah, there you go. That's the first one. Is
You have to take in-
knowing the like other people have done it. So studying how long is it taking them to do it. That's research. You can also just use Google Maps. That would be helpful. And then what's
like
the second? So yeah, go ahead, Renish.
taking into consideration like what for example, you have to go to the store. You have to take consideration how long their time is going to be, for example. It's not just your time.
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing of it is it's this: is your expert judgment. That's the first one. People have done it before, so that they have a feel for it. And then analytical, comparing similar tasks and finding trends. I mean, I know it sounds very elementary, but something that we don't think about very often. How do we determine how long something's going to take? There's sort of two ways: the expert judgment or the analytical techniques. So, for example, I use the story of like building an IKEA desk that I have and that I work on. That IKEA desk took me about, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour to build. So if someone were to ask me to build another IKEA desk, I can probably estimate, which is a similar model, it'll take me about 45 minutes to an hour to build, because I've done it already once, so I know how it works. Or if I never built one before, I just search it. How long does this IKEA desk take to build? And I know myself that I'm not very handy. So if they say it takes 30 minutes, probably take me about an hour, because I'll put something in backwards. I'll get messed up. I just know that about myself. So it's a little bit of both analytical techniques plus expert judgment. And then if you're very handy and it says it'll take 30 minutes, you can build it in probably 15 or 20. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to find the activities. Okay. Very cut and dry, very basic, essentially saying what needs to get done. All right. If you all recall the work breakdown structure, the work package, which is at the very bottom of that chart, is 8 to 80 hours of work. Of course, you want to break down work even to a smaller bite than that to make it manageable for people that are doing it. So what needs to get done to achieve a deliverable is the activity. So we need to know what needs to get done before we can even move forward. The next one is sequence activity. There's two reasons for that. The first one is the lag and the lead time. Like I said, earlier, if I'm on a team that is lagging on a project and I don't do my portion, then the other team can't do their portion if they required me to finish mine first. So having a clear written out schedule of when things are going to get accomplished helps keep things on the ball. And then, the second reason as well is just knowing the overall picture, like how long is this project going to take? And you do that by doing the smaller projects at first. So question for the group: should picking up the Frosty from Wendy's be the first thing you do or the last thing you do? If in our scenario that we did, raise your hand and tell me if you think it should be the first or the last. Brian, first or last thing, and why?
Should be the last, because it's going to be melting if you pick it up first.
Exactly. Thank you, Brian. I don't think that the person who asked for the Frosty wants a melted Frosty by the time that you get home. Not to mention, it'd be really annoying to carry around a Frosty and then run all those other errands. Like, I would be pretty annoyed by that. So yeah, you want to make sure that you understand the sequence of events. When do things need to happen? You can't walk until you crawl. You can't get to letter B until you do letter A. That's a sequence of activities. The next thing is estimate the activity resources that we have. Let's just be realistic. We all have a finite number of people, of money, of time, of supplies. So what do I need to get the job done? And maybe in a perfect world, I would be able to get this done much faster. But, we live in an imperfect world, right? So factoring in things like, to use our scenario again, things like traffic, things like an accident happening, things like the trains being delayed, factoring things that are outside of our control, like a SWOT analysis that we did earlier. What is the T? What is the threat that can damage the schedule? And then the last thing is estimate the activity durations. So in simpler terms, how long will each task take? Like I said, expert judgment or analytical thinking, using those two ways to know how things are going to go. Last thing you want to do is you want to develop the schedule. All right. So you're a project manager, you know what needs to get accomplished, how you're trying to figure out how long are things going to take, and you want to create a schedule so that your team can work together, they can accomplish things in the right order. People are accountable for getting their deliverable in on time. That's why I think what Year Up does is so smart. Doing different deliverables that you have to accomplish every single week is already conditioning you and teaching you that part of the working world is you have expectations and you have a set and clear deadline of when it needs to get done. Same thing in project management. In project management, it's even more pertinent that you get it done because it's not just you, their whole entire team is relying on you. So making sure that all gets accomplished is critical. And then the last one is control schedule, making sure you stay on task. All right. So you're the project manager. You have to keep an eye on things, making sure that everybody's, doing what they said they would do. It's taking as long as I said it would take, and making sure that everyone stays according to the schedule that has been laid out. All right. So any questions? I know we went through that very quickly. Like I said, it's in Schoology. This lecture is going to be on YouTube. You can go back and look at later. But out of curiosity, green check if you're a yes, red X if you're a no. Do you struggle with time management? Green check, yes, I do struggle with time management. Red X, no, not really that big of a deal for me. Oh, look at that, split down the middle. Pretty good. The thing with time management and project management is that this isn't just, you getting your stuff done, it's making sure everybody else gets their stuff done too. And that's why project managers get paid a lot of money. They have a lot of responsibility. All right. We're going to take 15 minutes. We're going to come back at 2:41. I want you to watch this video about Elon Musk and how he manages his time. And then we're going to come back and discuss it here in about 15 minutes. Thanks, guys. I put the link in the comments. Everybody, it's 2:41. If you're able to get back on camera, please do so. Do me a favor, and if you have a comment, I see a few of them in the chat box already, but if you have some feedback on that video or something that stuck out to you, just raise your virtual hand, and I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Yes, Chelsea, start us off.
Yeah, I was making a joke in the chat because he said that people tend to be overly optimistic with planning. So just actually see how long something takes before putting it into the schedule. So I want to try the app, the 30/30 app. But that's what I.
Yeah, definitely. Which do you skew, Chelsea? Do you tend to think things will be faster than they are, or slower than they are? Like things are going to take longer than you think? Faster, yeah. Same. I always think things will take faster than they do, and they always take longer, especially when there's other people around and involved. It's not just you running to the grocery store. There's other factors in place. Thank you, Chelsea. Anybody else have a comment from the video that they thought was a good takeaway?
I thought a good takeaway was not like overboxing your time. So not saying I'm going to use the bathroom at 2:44 for 30 seconds, but just being reasonable. Like the bigger tasks that we have, to set times for them, and also breaking down really big tasks so they're smaller.
Sounds great. Thank you, Dondre. Wow, Dondre had a great comment in the chat box. How about Jose Rivera? What were your thoughts on the video?
Sorry. Not yet. The idea of time boxing. It kind of reminded me of like the Pomodoro, of like setting certain times. So I mean, I try to implement that in my day routine to the best that I can.
Yeah, that's good. So it reminds me of the Pomodoro technique, which is 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. Good. Yeah. And Roscience, you wrote "Pessimists Unite." Why did you write that in the comments?
It's often better to be pessimistic, just because if you plan for the worst and expect you don't hope for the best, because it's never going to happen, because things don't happen in your favor. But if you expect the worst, often you're never going to be disappointed. So it's better to be pessimistic.
Hey, that's realistic, particularly for a project manager. You're better to think, let's just imagine this is going to take a lot longer than we thought, and it's better to end early than to think it's going to be a really quick turnaround and it takes too long, right? Everyone's laughing. Who hurt you? LOL. I'm not sure what that is referring to. So anybody else have comments before we move on? So time management, very important in project management. So let's do this. We got 30 more minutes of class left. we're going to do a very, very brief, and I do mean brief, 7-minute breakout, putting this into practice. So using the tools that we learned today. So you're gonna have a person on your team who is gonna share what their their calendar, share what their busiest day is next week. It could be a work day, it could be a not work day. And you and 2 of your colleagues are gonna help them plan out their day, manage their tasks. How can I do the most important tasks first? What order will I put them in? And let's come back and see who's gonna have the most productive day. Chelsea, have your hand up, or is that from earlier?
Yeah, I just thought about this. So for the essay, right? Is that before taxes or is that after taxes?
Oh, yeah, good question. We're gonna talk about that after you guys get back from your breakout. But yeah, it's gonna be before taxes. You're making 45,000 a year. Yeah, before taxes. Yep. All right. So we're gonna send you off. Literally, I'm giving you 5 minutes. So choose somebody right away. Say, I'm gonna be the person. This is my busiest day. Your colleagues help that person plan out their day the most effective way possible using the techniques we discussed. And I'll see you back here at 2:51. Hey, Soraya, Angie, are you guys, Soraya, you able to go into your room? Are you there? So Randy, Jose, which one did you guys, whose schedule did you talk about in your breakout?
We talked about mine.
Cool.
I was supposed to go to Boston this last weekend, but because I didn't plan it out, things didn't really fall in line. So I definitely have to plan this next weekend coming up, not this weekend, next weekend.
Cool.
But yeah, definitely.
Hopefully this time you don't end up in Buffalo by accident.
Yeah, man, that was traumatizing.
I love that story. I told my wife, I told one of my buddies on text, I was like, you're not gonna believe what happened to one of my students. He was trying to go to Boston, end up in Buffalo.
and like I had a connecting flight and I was stuck in the airport for like 5-6 hours.
Oh,
and it's like 4 a.m. and so nothing's open. I'm starving. It was.
That is painful, man. That just hurts. I mean, we all have stories like that where something got turned around and we just end up where we don't want to be. I had one work out in my favor. This was literally the happiest day of my life, other than the day I got married and the day my children were born. But beyond that, it was a very happy day. I had to fly to Indianapolis for work for a 1-day conference I was speaking at. And the way my company worked, if the client canceled within 2 weeks, you still got paid. All right. And it was President's Day. And I go to the airport, hardly anybody's there because it's kind of like a holiday, but not really, depending on who you ask. And I'm sitting at the bar at the terminal, waiting for my flight to get called. I'm eating my lunch, and I get an email from my company. Hey, they just canceled. Did you leave yet? And I'm like, no, I didn't leave yet. Like, all right, we'll just go home and send us your bill. It's okay. So I got paid for the whole entire day of work to go to the airport, eat lunch, and turn around and leave. That was a pretty sweet day. So only ever happened once in my 4 years of working for this company, but yeah, it was not bad at all. And then I had like a day to do whatever I wanted. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, it worked out well. All right, Randy, I'm going to put you on the spot. Let's hear about how you're going to better plan for your Boston trip. What did you and Jose chat about?
So we did talk about just a bunch of tasks that I needed to do before I actually left. So I definitely have to do laundry. So laundry. So I want to leave Friday because it's I want to spend the weekend there. I don't want to leave like Friday night or Saturday morning because then I'm tired when I get there. So Friday morning I want to leave, but then we also have class with you guys. So I wanted to, I know you guys have like a phone, like a number to call so we can listen. I'm not technically in the Zoom, but I can hear you guys talk during the Zoom meeting. So that was one option that I had for that. I can also leave right after, but then I will have to do laundry in between. Like I like to do everything. Like I like my clothes like fresh, clean.
Right.
So like when I take them on a trip, they're like fresh out the washer, fresh out the dryer. So I probably do laundry during our morning classes. I'll be on my phone, but I'll still be in class. And yeah. So, and then I have to rent the car. Then the hours, like the drive over there is 3.5 hours, depending on how bad the traffic is, how good the traffic is. And then, yeah.
Sounds good. Did you guys discuss what time you're going to
So
try to
altogether,
leave the city? Did you guys get that far? Or not really.
It's either 8 or 1. 8 a.m. or 1 p.m.
Gotcha. Yeah, very good. So you made a game plan, wash the clothes, rent the car, and hopefully leave by 8 o'clock, listening to your Zoom call on the phone as opposed to being on the computer. Great. Awesome. Let's hear from group 5, Alexander, Tyrell, and Yoel. Whose day are you guys talking about making a plan for time management?
So we were discussing about what we usually do throughout our days, and we came to the conclusion that we are lazy and we don't do anything. So Alex just sleeps and Tyrell sleeps, and usually all they do is just go on Schoology, see what assignments they have to do.
We're spontaneous people, I would say.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's
I
what we
like
call
to
it.
live more in the moment. Also, it's not all bad. We are going for Guinness World Records for the most sleep. So, yin and yang, there's ups and downs.
You guys ever hear the parable of the businessman and the Mexican fisherman? Do you guys ever hear this one? No. Okay. There's this New York City businessman. He's on vacation in a coastal town in Mexico. He gets up one morning and he's walking around and he sees this fisherman bringing in his small boat with the most beautiful fish he ever saw. He just caught. He looks at the man and he says, "What are you doing? You're done fishing? It's 8 o'clock in the morning." And the guy goes, "Oh yeah, of course. I got plenty of fish for the day. I'm going to feed my family. I'm going to give some to my neighbors. I'm going to give some to my friends." He goes, "Oh yeah. Then what are you going to do the rest of the day?" He goes, "Oh, I got a busy life. I'm going to take my kids to school. I'm going to, hang out with my wife, take a siesta, enjoy my evening, playing guitar and drinking wine with my friends. And then tomorrow I'll do it all over again." And the businessman scoffed, like, "What are you thinking? Like, with the quality of those fish, you can get a whole entire crew. You can get a whole entire fleet of ships. You can go out and catch all day. You can open up your own cannery. And eventually you can IPO on Wall Street and you can make millions of dollars." And the fisherman goes, "Wow, that sounds really cool. How long would that take?" He goes, "Oh, probably like 20 years. He goes, "Okay, so 20 years from now, I IPO and I make millions. Then what do I do?" And the businessman goes, "Oh, well, then you go fishing in the morning. You take your kids to school. You have a siesta with your wife. And then you spend your evening drinking wine and playing guitar with your friends." And I was like, "Well, I'm already doing that." So I love that story. Anyways, I love that story. With that being said, obviously choose the path that you want. If you want to go fishing, great. If you want to go make millions, great. Is obviously everyone's their own person. But thank you so much, Yoel. So it sounds like to me you guys didn't really get too far, other than that you'd like to sleep a lot. Notice how he does.
There's not much to plan or schedule.
Okay.
So
spontaneous people. I mean,
spontaneous planning.
You can love us or you can hate us.
That's it. That's it. All right. Well, let's go ahead and our last 15 minutes of class. I want to share this. How many of you guys remember when John came and spoke about the project that he did on Monday? He actually sent me some pictures. This is kind of cool. This is the boat that they had to build. It's pretty serious. Like, look at that. So if you notice, like, let me do my little annotation. Sorry, there's crying kids in the background. #dadlife. So like that's like where the person is just like in there manning it. Over here they're manning it. This is like just a big barge. I was gonna say they just like connected it down here with these serious, business. So that's what they had to build for the project. And then there's the tanker going on it. So it had to be like obviously extremely sturdy because those things are not light. I have no idea what a tank weighs, but it's serious. And then there they go. So this was the project that he and his colleagues had to do. So when you get to your internship and your career and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed out by this, just think about the day these guys had trying to build that and getting their tanks across that body of water. That sounds pretty stressful. And one last thing that I'm glad that Chelsea brought it up because I want to bring it up as well. Actually, just give me a second to cue it. It's about the deliverable that's due tonight. So we'll say, for the sake of keeping things simple, we'll say that you have $15,000 to work with if you do 1/3 of your take-home pay. So actually, I spoke incorrectly. Please forgive me. We'll say $45,000 take-home pay, and you have $15,000 to work with. And some people have been kind of confused, like, well, how do I, write what I'm going to do, kind of in a narrative form. So this is how you can do it. You guys don't know Jesus. He's an LCJ student. He's an IT student, but this is how he did it. And this is a perfect A. So you have $45,000, $15K for rent. So he decided I'm going to obviously live in an outer borough. And also just for clarity, you don't have to live in New York. You can live in another country. You can live in another state, whatever you think is best. Like, use your imagination. He actually found a place online on Street Easy. There's the address. One of the things he likes about this is that the internet and the laundry is included. There's no actual kitchen, which I guess to him is not a big deal. I mean, I told the last group when I was, I think Jesus is like 20 or 21. When I was his age and living out, and if I had my own place, I was like eating Chinese and pizza every day. Like, I didn't need a kitchen either. I remember I went a whole entire year and never used my oven once. Like, that's kind of how much of a bachelor I was. So that's that. He also talked about why he would choose to live there, because he had access to the trains and the buses. And one thing I thought was really cool is he looked at the demographics of the neighborhood. Is it a place that he would want to live in, as a Hispanic person? He found out this community is primarily white and Hispanic. Very close for a very good nightlife for a young single guy. He's like, I want an A+ for nightlife. So he's like, that's important to me. For me, as a married man with 2 kids, I go to bed at 9 o'clock every night, so I don't really care about nightlife very much. So then it's one of the things that he said that he would do. This is where he would choose to go. So as you can see here, I mean, literally it's 2 paragraphs. It's 1 page long. The only thing that I suggested to him, remember how when John was here, he spoke about how you have to poke holes into your own plan to make sure that it's bulletproof. The only thing I said to him is like, listen, if you're doing streaming, Zoom calls, what have you, having internet in your whole entire building is not ideal. Because if the person above you is playing video games, the person below you is watching YouTube videos, the bandwidth can get weak very, very quickly. So I understand it. Like, maybe it makes sense. Like, yeah, I want to live there because the internet's already paid for. But at the same time, if you do a lot of streaming, it maybe isn't the best way to go. Unfortunately, I find that internet is really crappy to come by in New York. My building was only outfitted for Optimum for the longest time, $50 a month, and it was not very good. And then one day out of the blue, they decided to up it to $75 a month. And I called them and like, oh yeah, you finish up your promotional period. I was like, well, I don't want to pay $75 for bad internet. And thank goodness my building got outfitted for Verizon Fios. So now I pay $75 a month, but that is well worth it for good internet. So that was how you do that project, how you do that paper rather, and that's due tonight. Chelsea, you want to share about your busy day?
Yes. So next week, Wednesday, I'm getting a wisdom tooth taken out. Oh my gosh. So I think we have our debate Wednesday. I don't know. That's not clear. But I'm preparing for that debate because I'm going to win. My team is going to win. So I have to prepare. That's all I have to do.
So when is your procedure before or after the debate? After.
I mean, I don't know when it is.
Okay.
Actually, I think it might be Tuesday. I'm just gonna say Wednesday, just So I'm gonna go to class. Everything's gonna be fine. Appointments at like 2:30. So immediately from here, I'm going and then I'm coming home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I have a question. for
Sure.
you.
Yep.
This is off topic. I'm sorry, but it's very important. Are you team pizza or tacos? It's
Well,
important.
which one do I prefer to eat?
Yes.
Gosh, that's really tough because those are both delicious foods. But given that my my grandmother's last name is Capelli, I have to say pizza because I'm a quarter
Thank you.
Italian.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
You're welcome. But tacos are very tasty as well. So, anyways, I don't want my grandma to be mad at me for saying that, but depends on the mood. You know what I mean? It's really a mood food. Like, what do you want? Like, tacos or pizza? What are you in the mood for? What about you, Chelsea? You pizza as well? Your team pizza?
So why I ask is we had a debate earlier. I was pizza and Terrell was tacos.
Mhm.
He kind of won because people are biased, but my argument was much better. So I just had to ask you,
Yeah.
just to see your opinion.
Thank you for that. So now I'm curious of the
There
class.
was a
How
red wave
give-
that showed up in favor of Tyrell.
there was a red wave. So let's do this. Let's say there's a red wave or a green wave. Green check, pizza, red X, tacos on the right. What's your go-to? I'm putting pizza for mine. I love pizza.
Red wave again.
Oh man, no, we're split up. We got one up. We're split again. All right,
Wait
looks
for
like
the red wave to come in. Yeah, it's coming in.
we got one more for tacos.
Yo, I
Preciosa.
knew it. You lied to me and you told me you said pizza. Okay.
Amazing. People have spoken. Yeah. No recounts, right? No voter fraud here. All right. So one last thing before we talk about the deliverable is I just want to encourage everybody. There's actually, unfortunately, a few people in this section that are not doing so hot in my class because they forget that discussion board is 2 parts. A discussion board is your original post, which is normally due on a Monday. And then there is the response for the 2 posts. We each respond 2 different times, which is due on Thursday. So I don't know how your other instructors do it, but I always go, and check to make sure that, you do all of those. And I'm a very easy grader, which I'm sure a lot of you are learning. I just go in and say, okay, what I'll do is can I pick on you, Yoel, because you're my coachee? Thank you. So
Yeah, sure.
okay, I go into discussion board. I hit the search thing. I type in Yoel Hernandez, and it says he posted once here, and once here. Okay, he did all 3. I'll read them very quickly. Looks good, 100%. So if I know Yoel never did this because he knows how it goes, but if he just posted one time and I just see, oh gosh, he only posted once, then guess what? Yoel gets a 50 for the discussion board. Not awesome, right? If Yoel posts one time, original post, and then responds to one person, but not 2, then what does he get? A 75 on the discussion board. So I just want to encourage, there's a few of us in this class that are struggling with their grade. Very easy way to stay ahead of your grade is just make sure that you post 1 and respond to 2. Does anybody have any best practices for making sure that you do that? Because quite a few of you are really good at that. How can you make sure that you always get both of those tasks done? Anybody have any feedback for your colleagues who are struggling?
You said the discussion board, right?
Yes.
Do it at the same time.
Love it. So you do your original post and then you just respond to the 2 other posts and that's it. You're done. Do them simultaneously. That's one great way to do it. So there's always that. So I would encourage you, just remind everybody, please, I don't want you to fail this class because something as silly as a discussion board. Okay. So Preciosa, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
All right. Do me a favor. Read the chat box deliverable.
Okay, if you completed the discussion board, let it to John and getting the own. That's all I see here.
Then your deliverable is Preciosa.
And what? Oh, have a blessed weekend and see you on Monday.
All right. Thanks to you, everybody. Have a good rest of the day and take care. Be safe. And I guess I'll see you tomorrow at feedback, but have a good rest of the day.